Today on the show, we're joined by someone who truly embodies the spirit of purpose driven entrepreneurship, Mr. Nagaraja Prakasam, or as many know him, Naga the farmer. A former tech leader who retired at 41, Naga has since dedicated his life to nurturing India's startup ecosystem, especially in India's heartlands. He is an angel investor with over 33 investments, including Uni4, which grew into a unicorn under his early guidance. From mentoring at IIM Bangalore and co-founding Native Land and driving social impact across 28 states, his work sit at crossroads of business, sustainability, and rural innovation. He is also the author of an award-winning book, Back to Bharat, and a champion of using India's people, problem, and tech as a force for inclusive growth. We are thrilled to have him with us. Thank you for joining us, sir. Welcome to the show. Hi, welcome to Alliance University podcast. We have with us Naga the farmer. I just want to get directly into this. When you started this journey of angel investors, what is the problem that you saw in an Indian market, and what is the problem that directed into this path?
So the social investing or the social business is a interesting concept. I came to know from a good friend called Jacqueline Novagritz. She has built a $100 million fund in New York. And so I got an opportunity to see all their work when I came out of my earlier avatar, where I want to do something around social side. The urge to do something in the social space came in 99. When I was in US, there was a Diwali Mela. When you are a bachelor, you love Indian food, so go for a Desi food. So there was a place where it was mentioned about Association for India's Development. And there was a lady asked me to put a pin on the place I'm from. I put in Madurai and said, she talked about Aravind Eye Hospital, right? So, and she said how it is the best social business in the world. It's a Harvard case study. And it was amazing because I have no idea about Aravind, even though I grew up in Madurai. So that was a fantastic, awakening for me about in my own hometown. I have no clue what is happening because we're all busy all the time. Head down with your career, the way that what you want to do. But after that moment, then completely changed the way I look at everything. So all the weekend spent on, analyzing problem. Aid, usually we raise funds in overseas and funded NGOs in India. So it gives a fantastic opportunity to understand the problems of India. Until then, we are kind of head down, you're a middle class trying to get out of the water. So this is the very, very interesting information, and quite a bit of collaboration happened with many of these NGOs and problem statements. And also more importantly about, we raise funds raising from, attending this Shramdan, what we call, we go sell Coke and hot dogs in the football games, as well as we organize fundraisers. We raise fund and support these projects in India. So the movie Swadesh is about aid, right? So the plant, they build the microhydel power plant, the village is built in that village. It is designed by us, funded by us. So that is kind of gave a fantastic opportunity for me to understand how technology can be utilized in social problems. So then fast forward 2012, we sold the company. At that time, I said, I'm done running and I want to go back to my 80 days. So that's when I realized that, if I'm running a donor agency, 1 year we'll raise $1 million to support a lot of projects. Other year may be different. But if you are a business, we are able to build a largest business possible, right? And so I was wondering about how do we build the efficiency of a corporate and heart of an NGO. So then I called that a social business. That's when I met, Jacqueline, who had a similar thought about aid versus trade. She had a fund that said about if you invest in a social business, the money can be rotating. If you give money to a nonprofit, which also needed, but wherever possible, if the social business provide a similar service, then you're moving from aid versus trade. So that is when Aravind Eye Hospital is one of the Acumen's first investment in India. So that gave me a fantastic idea about what is happening on the ground amazing entrepreneurs solving problems, and also able to create a venture out of it, whether it is in Avani, it's in make Pine Needle Power in Uttarakhand, or Arvind Eye Hospital make 60% of their operation free, still a profitable venture, right? So these are all the amazing social business. I went back to my friend circle, said we should also probably invest in impactful ventures. Till then, we're all IT guys. We invested in technology companies, and 2012 we've launched the DIA in Impact. And since then, all my investments are in social business. I've done around 32 plus right now, and they're all in the space. So another thought came in from Madurai, and once Rohini Nilikeni asked that you guys invest in only people who speak English and putting out nice PowerPoint. So that made me to think, and we had an opportunity in Madurai with Sivaraja, and who had this idea about supporting rural entrepreneurship. So we co-founded Native Lead Foundation. So we said no English, no PowerPoint, and you pick a problem and you start solving it. We will provide you all the help, right? Because we focused tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 town. We ignored the metros because we said that there's a lot of rural migration happening. If I'm a skilled labor, I ran out of Madurai, and unskilled labor also running out of Madurai, end up in Chennai. So if you provide opportunities in your own place, the need for migration slows down. So we want to create employment in these smaller towns using entrepreneurship. So I'm very glad today Native Lead Foundation is pretty much taken over by the Tamil Nadu government. We gave the Startup Tamil Nadu name to the government of Tamil Nadu as well. And they have taken up, Sivaraj is running the startup mission of Tamil Nadu, Startup TN. And what we were able to do last 10 years, they were able to do it like 1,000 times more. And that's the power of, government comes and takes your vision forward. That's really, really amazing. I'm glad to see that there is a Startup Singham program is happening in Star Vijay,
Like
where Native Lead is one of our partner there. And we've committed almost a major portion of the funding that will happen there. So every episode we have our investors coming up in these sessions and seeing fantastic entrepreneurs and supporting them. So this is also another way that what we said about you don't need to speak in your own English to pitch. Whatever language you speak, you should be able to speak, and to the investor who understand the language, so that we are able to support the billion people who do not speak English in India. So that's the story of what's happening.
Okay. So when a person or a group of people come to you with a business pitch, what is that one parameter that you look into it? Is it like the business idea, or is it that how much it will help the community, or is it like it will be profitable? What is that main thing that you look in that particular business?
Yeah, so the number one is about the entrepreneur. We will, look at the entrepreneur ability, because this is about equity investing. So that means that we are betting on the idea of the entrepreneur, and so his ability to take that idea forward. So the number one thing is about the entrepreneur. So we spend a lot of time with the entrepreneur before we make the commitment. Number two is about, in the impact space, obviously, they come to me because I do only impact. So that means they're already understood the thesis, because in investment, most of the investors will have a thesis. So when the entrepreneur approaches the investor, they already know the thesis of it. So when they approach me, I know that they're working something around the impact space. But my definition of social business that I support is about you sell a product or service to a low-income family, or you buy a product or service from low-income family, right? So what I'm wearing is a craft. So this is about 9 million viewers in the country. They make average 5,000 rupees, right? Many of them are leaving the profession. So entrepreneur like Go Co-op, Shiva. So Go Swadesh is a brand. So he takes this craft from the poor weavers and selling it to a premium market and passing 85% of what the customer pays to the weaver. So that's a definition of buying a product or service from a low-income family. And Neurosynaptic, right, which is a couple of Indian science students came back together and created a solution to help the 68% who lives in rural India, where only 2% of doctors are available. So they developed this kit which costs like 2 lakhs and which has around 42 diagnostic kit. A 10th pass lady in a village can run a diagnostic center with the technology, right? So where, they work with the nonprofits, they work with CSR, work with government to set up these centers and, operate and monitor it. and the NGOs would charge like 10 rupees, 15 rupees for a visit. So this is about providing a product or service to a low income family. So that's the definition of social business. It should fall into this. And as an equity investor, the idea should be scalable.
Yeah.
If it's not scalable, the equity investor does not get his money back. So obviously the two things, entrepreneurability and the scalability is a major thing. And for the impact side, the social business definition, it should fit in.
So now that you started this program, Solving for Bharat, with Alliance University, this is a no exam program where anyone can join, can pitch in their business ideas and make can convert that into a business. Where did that come from? What do you think as a need that you saw for a requirement for such a program?
Right. See, one of the thing what I have done, like many of my friends always say that, Naga, I want to do what you're doing, right? Invest in social business. I do travel a lot. I don't believe in PowerPoint. I need to go see in person what people are doing. I've been to around 28 states, lived in a lot of rural areas, and also visited extremist areas as well to understand why they become extremists, right? So that element of understanding the problem is very, very important on the ground. So many times my friend said, I want to do what you're doing, but they've been telling their last 12 years, 13 years, same thing. So all of us have an excuse about wanting to do what we are wanting to do, right? And they always come up with that, I have this obligation, that obligation, and all that. So that's why first step was I written a book, right? Documented my personal story as well. And all these visits that I've done, all these entrepreneurs I've met or invested or mentored, and I put amazing stories. So it is a kind of a go-to place for anybody who want to become an entrepreneur, especially in the social enterprise space. And this is going to be a good pathway for you to give you understanding about 30, 35 entrepreneurs, how they've done it. And all walks of life as well. If you're a student, there's a student entrepreneurship story. If you are somebody in corporate, how they left the corporate job, like Shiva, who did Go Co-op, I call him Airbus to Red Bus, right? So he was, flying head of innovation in Accenture, flying in airplanes. Now he's catching up the bus to go meet the viewers. So that's a corporate to a startup. About technology, which is a myth again, it's all about what problem you're solving is more important than how you're going to solving, then the technology will come in. So Vilma Rodriguez, a literature student, it's running a fantastic waste management company today. So like this, every walks of life, who you are. And if you want to do something in the social space, this book should be able to give you an idea about how people have done. It's not hypothetical. It's about what is happening real. At the same time, also, a lot of people ask me about how you ended up doing this question you're asking. That's why I put my story as well, that how this thought was with me and how the thought was evolving in terms of, and now how I control my journey as well, that I control my destiny in terms of what I want to do. So most of the time we do things for the pressure of social societies. And if you come out of that society pressure, you can do whatever you want. So that's my story as well. I said, I'm retiring at 41. I said, no more running around. Right? And now I'm going to do some crazy stuff, what I'm going to like. So if people are wanting to do something like that, here is the pathway for them to understand. So after I've written this book, and I saw that a lot of people have read it, they said I've connected well. But other part I've seen is wherever I go across the country, and I've probably spoken around 150 colleges in the country, and the exposure of our students was about what is in the popular media, right? So I was glad today, I think, then the startup Mela happening in Delhi, the minister talked about, the IT related ventures. People are more focusing on this one. That's what I call in my book about 3 categories of startups. The first category is about the copycats, which they follow the popular trending sectors. The second category is what I'm interested in, the social businesses, applying some element of technology to solve a social problem. The third is about disruptive innovation. So when I go to these colleges, when I talk to the student, the exposure of this is very minimal, because most of the thing what is written in the media is about the first category of startups. So if somebody, in Madurai, the startup will say, I want to copy what the successful startups in Bangalore, so-called successful, right? They'll say, okay, I want to sell idlis on online. I want to sell t-shirts on online. So this is what a guy in Madurai is thinking about, because he has no clue about what are all the other entrepreneurs are doing, in the social business as well. That exposure is not there. It is not there captured in the popular media. So that is why I've started doing these sessions in colleges. So this about when I was meeting Sean, who's a vice chancellor of Alliance University. So he was talking about that what are all things that he can do for his students. So this then we discuss about this is a fantastic area for students to get exposed, because today's the world what they are exposed is something that is only popular media talks about it. But exposing them at this younger age, these kind of initiative, these kind of amazing entrepreneurs who are working in this, which will change the way their perception about the problems and solution, what they want to do with their life. So we came up with a fantastic approach, and I'm very glad that Alliance, was able to take that forward, because we said let's do a multidisciplinary course. Because someone asked me a while back that why there is no Stanford in India, right? So I always tell them that in India we have these individual organizations like your IIT, which focus on technology, IIM focus on business, AIMS focus on medical. And there is nothing all together, it's not there. But private universities have this advantage. So I've told this idea to probably 25 private university chairmen. But I'm glad Alliance got it and said, let's do a multidisciplinary course. Because today in Alliance, you have a law, you have a design, you have business and engineering. Yeah. Can you put all of them together in a room and then let them do a course? I think that's where the Solving for Bharat was born, where we announced that to all the students of Alliance that here's an opportunity, come together, all of you, come understand about how to solve for Bharat, and coming from the practical examples of it. So we designed the course based on that. There also we made some innovation that no exams. And I'm sure all the students would love it that no exams, but the pass fail is based on the venture that you're going to create. So I'm glad today around 60 people were enthusiastically applied. We want to ensure that the interested people are the only one we are going to be engaging with, not everyone, because we want people to be serious, no exams. But the thing is 80% is on the field, only 20% theory. That means that they have to go visit the ventures mentioned in the book. They visited Sahas, which is one of the leading entrepreneur in waste management, and Carbon Master, which converts the waste into biogas, compressed biogas, and then Boson, which solving Bangalore's very important problem of today's water. They're reclaiming around 1 lakh liters of water every day, right? There are tons of water going waste. So entrepreneurs, the students are visiting them in person, talking to the entrepreneur, visiting their factories, visiting their place to understand how these people are working on these crazy ideas, right? How they made it possible, how they made it as a successful venture, how they are scaling it. So after each visit, when they come in, I see that amazing amount of discussion happening, because we have them reflect, and we taught them business plan canvas, so they have to apply. For Sahas, they developed a business plan canvas. So the teams are divided. Each team would come and present. And they will discuss about what they're learning, right? So that is the stories in the book. That's a text. So they read the story, go visit. They can ask, very good question to the entrepreneur, learn that and apply. Then now they can start thinking about, wow, I can also solve this problem. These are all the problems around us and which I have not seen. Because I'm looking at the popular media, what is happening. I'm now looking around my town, my hometown, my village, my home or my road. What are the problems that are existing? That's what I tell in the book. Then the only 2 qualifications required to become an entrepreneur. You need to have an ability to sing and also have an ability to hear the sunrise. What does that mean? If you're able to hear the sunrise, you're sensitive. You're listening to all your senses. That tells you problems, right? If you're sensitive, the problems bother you. Every problem is an opportunity. Then once you find an opportunity, behave like a 6-year-old singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Does not matter. You're going to be a good A.R. Rahman audition or not. So that's an ability as an entrepreneur you need. So that's the confidence that we are giving to the students. I'm very happy now. 45 students are regularly attending the classes, and 20 plus have already submitted the idea what kind of problem that they're going to solve it. And they finished all the industry visits so far. So next few classes they're going to present. They're going to do a pitch deck about their idea, about what they're going to do. So, and I'm glad as well Alliance came forward to support them in terms of incubation, And also we have a resident mentor in the campus.
Yeah.
He's available full time. So they're all, I can meet him anytime and get learning from him as well. So like this, this course is creating the first kind in the whole country. That one is multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary does not mean that within engineering. We have a PhD student, we have a first year engineering student, first year BBA student, first year MBA students, final year, from second year to final year, all, course, all years of engineering students, design students, all in one class. On top of that, the fantastic beauty is there is a faculty in my class as well. So when this announcement went to everyone, there are a few faculties who are interested in to become entrepreneurs. So that is very, very important to have a university or academic institution to be successful to creating entrepreneurial ecosystem. All the three layers should be enabled. One is the student, the faculty, and the management. So if the three are not aligned, the system won't work. So I'm very glad that there are faculty sitting in my classes, right, among his own students and trying to learn. So this is going to send a very nice message to all the students as well, that when a faculty is eager to learn and utilize this opportunity, and what am I doing with my opportunity? So that is where I was asking that professor that, why are you in my class? I said, sir, where will I get the opportunity to learn from somebody from the industry? So I'm there as another student, and he is presenting as well in the class what the idea that he wants to work on. So this is what I'm very happy with the outcome so far. In a very short time, we are able to execute. That's a beauty with the Alliance. I see that this idea I've been telling to multiple academic institutions. One is multidisciplinary, and also about doing this solving for Bharat kind of exposure to students. Within a very short time, I'm sure probably a few months now, the course is going to end. So this is going to be really, really interesting. So seeing this enthusiasm among the Alliance, and we are very soon going to launch a PhD program as well, which will be on entrepreneurship. So this PhD program in entrepreneurship also will be multidisciplinary, where we gave a challenge to the team to come up with the program, because what I was kind of envisioning is about, if you are a public policy student, right, you go to a village and you analyze the problem statement, you put a report that here is the poverty, here is the situation. But we are going to tell them that don't just report to solve. Solve the problem in those villages that you're attending. So you go to a village and you saw that there are a lot of lost wisdom, like every part of India has a wisdom. So some of the example I mentioned, the book in Jharkhand and Buntu area where I went, there is a very extremist there, right? Because they make lac. The lac is used in making bangles. Today, these bangles are not, in a popular item. So they fell in poverty. So this entrepreneur took the technology in the Resin Institute and went back to the people that you make the lac, but don't make bangles. But here is a element in pharma industry as a natural binding element. So they've trained the local tribals about call the exchange and find out what is the current price, and then sell it to this manufacturer directly. So at good time, it become 1 kg 800 rupees. So this is what we are going to do a program in the PhD as well, that don't go, if you're a public policy student, go report the problem, identify how can you solve a problem locally. If you identify a herbal like this, maybe get another PhD student from chemical engineering and analyze about what science in this particular herbal that utilized in the thousands of years by these tribals. Then if you both of you are highly technical, just get one of the PhD student from a business unit. All the three of you work on one problem. Get 3 PhDs. So probably it's going to be India's first multidisciplinary scholarship program in PhD program, where a business student, an engineering student, and a law public policy student should come together and solve a particular problem. So that's going to be the next one we will launch. So all of this students will go through the solving for Bharat course as well as a mandatory, so that there is no question about will it work. So in my book, I've given examples of all kind of things where people have made it work. So they'll give a confidence to people to say that I'm a public policy student. Can I run a venture? Yes, you can run. So it need not be only for engineering student. It need not be only for a business student. Anybody can become an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Is there a funding opportunity involved in this program along with this?
Yeah. So what the university had offered is about all the students who are pursuing their venture idea will get incubated here, and the resources will be available for them as well. There is one entrepreneur who wants to work around some IoT devices for the gym equipments. So the vice chancellor offered the gym. Said go experiment in the gym, right? So there is another entrepreneur who want to do work on some of these areas where universities becoming the customer. So like this, we are encouraging the entrepreneur to have their first customer, to utilize the equipments in the university to explore, and the VC's been telling about opening the university till 11 o'clock. So then they don't need to interfere with your academics as well. Evening, after all your classes are over, still you can pursue your idea on innovation as well.
So you talked about opportunities of entrepreneurs, be it in social arena or otherwise. What do you think are the main challenges that is faced by an entrepreneur? There's been a lot of talk earlier about there's a lot of red tape involved in India because of policies or systems which has already been there, which has been draconian. So what is your take on that? Like, is that a challenge?
Yeah, I think one from the government side, central, state, all the state government, they are doing a fantastic job because we don't have jobs. So, and especially student entrepreneurs. So the goal is about all of them, or many of them should become job creators than job seekers, because all the jobs put together by all the SMEs in the country, it is more than all the corporates put together, the job wise. So that means that we need more startups to come forward, create jobs. So that is why all the central government, all the state governments have a fantastic policies in terms of creating entrepreneurship among the students. So the challenge I see in the student entrepreneurship is the moment they graduate, they're under a pressure, right? Take a job, get married, or go to higher studies, right? These are all the three areas. So that is why, we are now telling the students that when you are in the first year in a college, it's your best time for you to start your ideas, to get a venture. You have next 3 years, 4 years. You don't have any pressure from anybody to work on your idea. If the idea works, you're awesome. And that's what I mentioned. Few student entrepreneur in my book, Zijan from My Captain came and did a session for the student. He said as a 19-year-old, how he started a venture. When he graduated, he has 8 lakh rupee in the bank. Right? No pressure from the parents about going further, right? And even I met with their parents as well. And when they're graduating, told them that give them 1 more year, right? If they're successful, they're going to be amazing. Even if that did not work out, an entrepreneur who tried, who been an entrepreneur, is equal to somebody with 10 years of experience. So you'll get a better job as well in that. So that is why student entrepreneurship is the best form for individual places as well as for the country as well. Individual basis that you don't have a pressure, you don't have a lot of risk you're taking because a lot of resources are available in the university. Leverage that so you can take your idea forward. The moment you start having revenue while doing your course, that's a fantastic testimony for your ability to become a successful entrepreneur. Not everyone become an entrepreneur, but you don't know until you try. That's the beauty of entrepreneurship. It's an art. We have these courses and all that. It gives some brushes and paint techniques. But at the end of the day, they have to go draw a picture. So the picture is based on their capability, right? So unless you try, you have no idea. Being a student, and this time is the best time to try it because the odds are very, very, less. And even if you lose, there's nothing much you're going to lose. That's why the student entrepreneur is the important one. The next is about the parents, right? So we will do at some point in time, do some sessions for parents as well, that because the parents still, we are a growing country. So there is always a fear about the failure, what will happen, there is a failure. So we have to start educating them as well as the country that they grew up, it no longer exists. So in the last 35 years, the country never had a negative growth, right? Especially last 25 years, the country is growing amazingly well. Whatever you do, you'll be fine in this country. So here is an opportunity to take that opportunity further. So give them another extra 1 year for them to pursue their own ideas. If they're successful, that's it. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Do you see a mindset change in, especially in an older generation about, because they have always seen a job as a safety and security part. Now that the situation across the globe has changed, a lot of people are getting into entrepreneurship, new ideas, changing the society and all. Do you, especially in an Indian parent perspective, do you see there is a mindset change right
Oh, yeah,
now?
quite a lot. I think 15 years back when I started investing, we could not find an entrepreneur who understand business side. A lot of technology people come into the entrepreneur side, they have no idea about business. But that changed quite a lot. There are a lot of success stories in the country, which are all going to feed further in people. Like, for example, Zijon, I was mentioning, who ran this company, My Captain, and when he was in college. So this after he graduated, and he has around 200 plus employees in the company. 80% of them came from his college. So he's the largest employer in his own college. So this is what going to drive more success in that college, right? So after that, we incubated him at IMB NSRCell. So we saw that his juniors applying to become incubated at IIM, and many of the people that he hired, he encouraged them as well. Work with me few years. If you have an idea, go start as well. So this is about one success what you need, which will breed more success story. People like Zijan coming and talking to the students, he will connect very well about, I'm a 19-year-old as well when I started like you guys. So you don't have nothing to worry about. Okay, he started 8-9 years back. But today, the system has evolved quite a bit, right? So that means that it's relatively easy for people. So I'm very positive, and based on my understanding and travel across the country, seeing many of the students as well as entrepreneurs in multiple regions, this is the best time to become an entrepreneur, because there's a lot of problems are available for you to solve. The next 20 years, many of the problems exist today may not be there. So you have an opportunity to solve it today. I always say that you are the best person to solve your own problem in your town, in your village, in your state. If you don't solve that problem, we are going to import solution from elsewhere. Then later, that solution may not be fit for us. So that's what I'm very happy with Native Lead as well, that we have done around 25, 30 investments so far. And amazing entrepreneurs that came out. There's Happy Hand, Ashok Kannan, he never went to school. But his egg is the most expensive egg in the country today. And he's the only humane certified, egg in all of Asia. So like this, a person never went to school, he is thinking global level. And we provide enough support to him. There's an opportunity for him to scale. Now he got featured in Forbes. Okay, so that's an ability of people available. What they were lacking about the exposure in the ecosystem, now it is available as well across the country. Wherever I go, the ecosystem is fantastic, especially people like Alliance University students. They have nothing to worry about, because the Bangalore is a startup capital of the country, and one of the top 10 in the world. So there are a lot of success stories for you to see across the Bangalore. And now we are enabling that further in the university. Utilize the opportunity, become an entrepreneur. That's going to be, if you're successful, I'm sure you're going to motivate many of your juniors to come in as well. If you're successful, it's going to be fantastic for you as well as for your family, as well as for your country.
What's your take on Donald Trump's tariff game right now? Like, is it actually going to be beneficial only for the US, or is it on a global scale? Is it going to be a different? I recently saw the video by Singapore Prime Minister where he says that this has changed what WTO has created in the last 20-50 years. Now the things are changing with that perspective. How that might not affect Indian startups or Indian things?
See, this protectionism does not help the country. We see in India as well, we are a great example of, until Manmohan Singh opened up the market, our growth rate was very, very minimal. So we become an open market. Look at the growth, and I'm the byproduct of what he has done, right? And when I was in school in '88, there is computer science. So look at that, opened up, they created a $350 billion industry last 20 years. And a lot of middle class, are able to come out of that, right? So this is what the open market made for India. We're all the byproduct, and we enjoyed the open market. And we saw what happened before that. India was closed area, which did not create enough, wealth for the people. And we were able to accelerate our GDP. We were able to accelerate our per capita income. We're not there yet, but I think we made a tremendous progress. So it is sad today that supposed to be a rich country is moving to protectionism. So which is proven economically, from the economist perspective, did not serve it. When Singapore opened, it was a success story. And so US was a fantastic free world so far, we used to call. I enjoyed that free world as well. I spent 10 years there. And so making that closed, it's not going to help anyone. But with the constraints on other countries will make the countries more greater. Like, for example, today ISRO in India is one of the top in the world. These pressure came because Western world did not give us technology. And he said, okay, you're not giving me, I'm going to develop my own. Look at that, we have a per capita income of around, $2,500, but we are top in, space technologies. So that's what constraints makes, innovation possible. This is a fantastic story for the country as well. That's what I take it, is that utilize these constraints to develop the country. And that is where innovation will come in. ISRO is a great example of how one constraint of not able to get a cryogenic rockets made us possible to create our own rockets. Today, we are the leaders in space technology. So this could happen every industry, is that we don't need to be on copycats like the first category of startups. We put our mind to do it, it is possible. That's what we joke, right? We're able to send the rockets to the moon, but crossing Koramangala is a problem because we don't put the will, we didn't put the effort into solving the problem. When we can send the rockets to the moon, solving Koramangala traffic problem, it's a breeze. But that's not a focus. Like these constraints of today's will make our innovators put their hats, go on that. How can I make that possible? And we don't want to be in the protectionist world. It should be a free world, because the free world is only that you get tested. Otherwise, you are keeping a child with you all the time in your home. She has no clue about what is happening outside. So she's going outside in the world, come back with the exposure. That's a difference. So that is what, the example, myself. So I grew up in a small town, Madurai. And when I went to US and came back, my views have expanded. Yeah. And there's amazing opportunity. So all of that is now helping the country. So this is what the open market will really help. If you just close that, you're all in the same well, you're just keeping each other talking about, you have no idea what is outside world is. So there is a only saying, by the poet in Tamil, that he say that go to every part of the world, bring all the learnings back to you. So this is what the open world will give for us. But unfortunately, this protectionism is going quite a bit across the world, which is not good for the whole world.
Let's hope that we'll get some opportunities from that. One last question. If somebody has an entrepreneurship mindset or an idea in their head, but they're not thinking about they're stuck in a position where they don't know what to do next. What is there?
So don't think too much. That's the problem, right? So you have to do it, right? We have a course in IMB, it's called Do Your Venture. So just tell people, just go do it, because if you start thinking too much, you'll find 100 ways why you should not do it. If you just jump and start working on that, you will learn while working as well. That's why it's an art. So don't wait for a perfect time, perfect moment, perfect stage in your life. Nothing. So I've invested in entrepreneurs from 19-year-old to 70-year-olds. Right? One of my entrepreneurs is now 73. Right? He's as good as a 19-year-old in terms of energy. So our students went and met him. And they all came back astonished. And, wow, 73-year-old is talking about like as if he started his venture yesterday. And that's the level of... He went to college at 56, understood, wanted to learn something new. And from there, he started this company. Right? So like this, there's no age bar, right? And there is no bar on anything, whether you have business family, whether you have this degree, that degree, whether you have that age, whether you have a girl, boy, there's no difference, right? Anybody can become an entrepreneur. All you have to is that have a confidence that you can do it. So now if you're a student in Alliance, join the course. I'm sure we'll probably next session, we're planning to start two courses parallelly, so that more students can go attend these courses as well. So here's a great opportunity for you to learn on the ground instead of just theory part as well. So go and interact with amazing entrepreneurs who learned from the ground. And when you learn from them as well, there's many of your inhibitions will go away. And the last is about, this is a time when you are in the college is the best time to experiment and do whatever the experiments you want now. You have next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years for you to start experimenting. So if you have an idea, and then reach out to the incubation center. So we have a full-time person who's here, a resident mentor. He lives here in the campus as well. You can catch up with him at even 11 o'clock. Yeah, so that's an opportunity you have. There is no excuse for you to not to take your idea forward. Yeah.
Thank you. It's been wonderful talking to you. And that brings to the end of the session. So those who want to know more about this, come join us. Thank you.
All the best. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.